So, we have some end-of-the-year tech choices for you. Make sure you guys smash the lead and crap out. Well, I guess you can't because non-aggression area is now active. So, well, I guess you should click it, but not so aggressively. So make sure you guys smash the lead and crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more content. You know, this is non-aggression area has always been one of those cards that people have looked at and they've wanted to explore because the card literally is a turn skip on your opponent. It is one of the older turn and skip cards that exist in the game, and people always kind of look at this card as one of those cool little options that you can play to kind of do things. Now, when the world is exploring, trying to want to play this right now, well, it would appear that Labyrinth has been exploring the option of this card. Now, I'm going to be upfront and honest with you. Nowhere do I think that non-aggression area is going to be a good card, because you gotta set up the rollback in order to truly get the best interactions out of this thing, in order to, apply the best options to make sure, you can kind of get a turn skip on your opponent. And if your opponent establishes, well, congratulations, you literally lost any sort of value that you might be having out of that. And that's kind of a little bit rough. I think there are just better trap cards overall that are going to, achieve better results than this. But, you've got people out here that are always going to try to want to innovate with Labyrinth, and that's fine. Innovation is a good thing when you can actually get access to it, and it's not just some subpar, cheap little option. But I've already seen a Labyrinth list. It performed well at its local environment. I was like, non-aggression area. It's one of those cool little cheeky cards that you see show up every once in a while. You don't really think too much of it, and then the card kind of goes back into the, bin of the forgotten cards, and we kind of continue back along with the cycle of things. I know, it's turned into, what cards can we actually play with transaction rollback to get the coolest little results out of the way. So yeah, I think that one's a cute little unforgettable action. And then we have Consecrated Light. Now, most of you are probably familiar with Consecrated Light having a massive appearance in Edison format, because it says neither player can normal or special summon dark monsters or declare an attack with a dark monster, and this thing cannot be destroyed by battle with a dark monster, and you take no battle damage from that monster. This is one of those interesting older little options that we have seen running around out here that has found its way into the current format for some reason, and I think that reason is Malice. I saw Logan Jaya was the one that kind of put this on the table out here, and my first immediate response was, we can actually roll this out against Malice, and what's Malice gonna do? It's not like you can normal summon an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring and try to deal with this. That's not necessarily how that works. Now, obviously, if they're gonna be forced to keep setting a bunch of monsters, eventually they might overcome and find a solution in order to do this, because flip summons are still allowed, and if you get enough bodies on the field eventually on a slow roll, well, congratulations, you're going to eventually snowball your opponent out of the game. That's not necessarily going to be what we're seeing here, but I'm thinking for the most part here that this is definitely a cool little interaction. Consecrated Light it's one of those old cards you look at. Obviously, it dies to Imperm. I mean, if you're normal summoning Consecrated Light and not really doing anything else at the end of the combo, well, there's like 9,000 other little issues to do with that. So I don't necessarily think that that's going to be a good thing per se. But hey, you know what? If you really have that much of an issue with Malice out here, and you're looking at Consecrated Light as that little floodgate to kind of keep you in the game, I don't think that's a terrible thing, actually. Innovation does need some things to thrive, and I think that this is a cute little tech choice. So maybe it'll stick around, maybe it won't. Porpoise, the White Aura. What are we doing with this? So level 6 water synchro monster. 1 water tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner monsters. Unsynchro summon. You can special summon a level 4 lower fish monster from your hand or graveyard in defense mode. Then you can special summon 1 monster with the same name from your graveyard. So this puts 2 extra bodies on the field. You can only use this effect of White Aura Porpoise once per turn. If this card in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can banish 1 other water monster from your graveyard. Special summon this card and becomes treated as a tuner monster. The context I was seeing this play in was actually Mermails, of all things, but they weren't actually playing anything to go up or climb the ladder into other directions. There was this, and I think there was Might have been a level 10 next to it. But Porpoise gives you 2 bodies on the field, which means you could technically link out with those, with Porpoise itself. So turning 2 cards into 3, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Coral Anemone on how you're making a link 2 that automatically puts the extra body on the field that allows you to kind of continue on up with playing the game. I don't see an issue with that, actually. I think that's... You've got some options available to you in the forefront of that. And, you know, Water has been exploring all these cool little options. I got to give it to Water, actually, especially with the Mermail deck. They've been trying to find as many cool ways to innovate where they actually can. And I've seen this deck between, like, trying to figure out the ratios and getting down the correct number of things. This deck has been doing really just fine. And we want to keep that up. We want to continue to see the snowball of Water do its thing. Obviously, you know, we have new support literally on the horizon here in the next month. We will be seeing that. So I am very curious to see how this deck is going to change through these next innovation lines and so forth. The Toy Box package. So this is kind of interesting because there was a Rizal list that showed up that was looking to use the Toy Box package in ways of extensions. Now, obviously, you know, the Toy Soldier and the Toy Tank are both level 4s, which is kind of cool. We saw White Forest trying out this idea a while back, where they would obviously be feeding off of these cards, and then they would go ahead and trigger on back because, you know, a little bit different of an approach at that point. And I think you're kind of trying to do the same thing here, where, you know, you're setting up the Toy Box package and you're using these as extensions. So I've seen 2 lists using the Toy Box package. Actually, one of my local duelists has been using this, and I saw a pretty successful run with the deck elsewhere, which is kind of cool, actually. If you've got multiple success runs with it, but once again, Rizal has been adapting all of these cool little ideas out here, man. You have all of these level 4 packages that you're able to do. I mean, we've already shown you the hero, we've shown you Gadget, you know, I've seen a Trap Tricks build running around out here with this. It's, Heraldic Beast is even, you know, functioning in the future out here with Rizal. Rizal put rank 4 back on the map, and it's really, really cool just to see how splashable that this package can be. So taking advantage of a toy package to get some extensions and continue to play the game, I am not actually all that surprised to see that. I think that's really, really cool. So good news, if you've got Rizal and you know, you're like, hey, I want to experiment out here. You know, I want to see what cool ideas I can do. You might be hindering the engines a little bit, trying out some of these ideas from their more broken potential, but I think you have some cool ideas. They are 100% worth exploring and seeing what you can do. And then the Sky Striker package. This package has become notorious yet again. You gotta love the TCG out here. TCG is going, hey, you know, Widow Anchor, Hornet Drones, and I can draw cards. All these spell cards that I can shove into this deck now kind of coming together out here on the forefront of things, powering up the Malice package just to make sure that, you know, 1 Hornet Drones into a Kagari into a Hornet Drones, normal summon a Malice monster, you've now automatically got your Link 3 literally established on the field, and you're off to the races. That's actually really, really good, and I think we're going to see a little bit more from people exploring the ideas of this, because with the rank, or with the Sky Striker package being back, I do think that the deck has some issues. Well, yeah, you're going to have issues with no matter what build of Malice you're going to play. It's going to depend on, do you want to weaken it to one matchup, or do you want to weaken it to another one? And honestly, I think being able to have the Widow Anchor as a steal for something from your opponent feels pretty strong, actually. You want things like that in order to keep yourself in the game and detour your opponent. So, yeah, the Sky Striker package is back on the menu for Malice, for link climbing capabilities and solid draw engine. It's kind of amazing how much that deck wants to draw and plow through its engine and see all of these resources in order to kind of keep the line up so that the deck can actually see some play. You know what? And I like that. So those are your modern era tech choices out here, actually seeing some play. So please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.